But I think you work the shows in a different way, and you may be looking for things, you're looking through Oprah's eyes. So tell me, how do you look? How do you work a show? And what are you looking for? Like, what's that element, that magic element that says, oh, this could be something?
Well, we freestyle when we work a show. We don't do appointments, first of all. And everyone and their cousin is constantly emailing, wanting to make appointments. But who really, it's very hard to keep an appointment, quite frankly. So we enjoy walking the hallways. And we walk every hallway and every building and every corner, because I'm always looking for that, that diamond in the rough, so to speak. And sometimes there are new vendors who are stuck in a spot, and we discussed this last night, that no one will go see. So I like to look in every nook and
Because
cranny.
you just never know what you're gonna find.
You never know what you're gonna
It's always
find.
that
And
down the corner,
it's
around
true.
the corner.
And like, we are hunters and gatherers of stuff. But everything is really through the prism of, will it bring joy to someone's life? Is it beautiful? Is it useful? The price has to be somewhat attainable, somewhat. It depends, because Oprah's philosophy is that everything should be a mix of high and low. And we're not always looking for what's hot, what's new. Like, obviously your magazine, you're obviously always presenting what is the newest and the greatest. We like it, but it doesn't have to be that. It has to really be something that Oprah personally would buy and give to someone else, use herself, eat, or want to have in her life. So that's sort of the prism that we're always looking for.
That's sort of the criteria.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this last night, but Oprah actually does try out all these products.
Yes.
Right? She wears the pajamas, she eats the candy, she uses the
Every bit of it. And now I'm with the magazine for 19 years, and we're about to celebrate 20 years of the magazine. And we've had various different ways of doing it. In the beginning, she would come to the office, and we had like rooms filled with stuff, and it was yes, no, yes, no. Then that became a little tedious. Then I was like, okay, I'll bring it to you. That was unrealistic, even though I did do that. Then we tried the photographs back and forth, and now it's a sort of combination of Skype and FaceTime, and she sends us stuff and we send her things, because she also gets many gifts. So she'll be like, I remember once it was a fabulous scarf. She's like, Maria Shriver just gave me this scarf. Let's do it on the O-list. I'm like, perfect. So it's fun things like that.
Yeah.
Support them, and perhaps any advice you could give to people who have been selected.
Well,
Or
I'm
have
start
given.
with the fact that since the last 5 years, we're now in our 5th year, we have been partnering with Amazon to help power the favorite things list. And that is a relationship we developed 5 years ago.
And you have your own homepage.
We have our own homepage and landing page and gateway, gateway on the Amazon site. And it has been remarkable. It's been remarkable because certainly, we have like 2.7 million women who buy O Magazine, but Amazon has hundreds of millions of people who are on their site daily around the world who perhaps don't buy the magazine. And so it has given such fabulous exposure to the vendors. And for us, it's really all about the vendors, our readers, / the consumer. So that's been a wonderful experience. However, not everyone that gets, that we pick has ever been on Amazon, or they've been afraid to be on Amazon, don't want to be on Amazon. So that is a whole process of onboarding that we work very closely with our Amazon people and the vendors. And we ask people really up front, when we're considering people for favorite things, we do ask them now, will you consider selling through Amazon? Or are you already on Amazon?
Or are you capable of fulfilling?
Or are you really
something
capable of
Amazon?
fulfilling? As Christmas especially, inventory is is a key thing, because the last thing in the world we want to do for our readers, or even the vendors really, is for them to sell out in week 1.
Right.
And that happens. And it's disappointing. And I always look at it that, being in the magazine and being on this list is valuable real estate. And there are literally thousands of people that we look at, and anywhere from 85 to 100, depending on the year, make it. So if you are someone that makes a list, you have to really be able to fulfill the orders. So we work with them on that. We give some sense of statistics in terms of, well, in the past, soaps have done like this, or pajamas have done this, or pillows have done this. So we do work with them.
And give them, that you feel that you've kind of built brand for. We were talking about pajamas again the other day.
No, we were talking about pajamas, and in fact, there is a company, I don't know if they're here today, in this room, that's shown here, called Cozy Earth, and I don't know how many people know
Oh, I
Cozy
just saw
Earth.
them this morning, I stopped.
They
at
do the
Lowe's.
most fabulous bedding in the world.
It was beautiful.
They honestly do the most fabulous bedding in the world. I recommend everyone to just go touch it and feel it. I can't remember where are they.
They're in the
Oh,
pavilions?
no, you know where they are? They're in the pavilion.
They're in the pavilions,
They're in the
the first
pavilion
row.
here. in this,
Because
yeah.
I started there this morning and they had their open sign,
Yes.
and they were very happy.
So their sheets are really fabulous, and so last year I said to them, well, would you consider pajamas? And I saw the light bulb go off, and then literally, I mean, they are great. Within 6 weeks, we had a prototype of pajamas, and then I showed them the Oprah, she was yes. So that is like one example, but you know, there's a foot cream called the Foot Nanny. Oprah has there is a fabulous woman who worked at Oprah's studio as the manicurist, because she had a spa at Harpo Studios for all the employees, because no one ever went home, I don't think, so it was a spa. And the manicurist there came up with a fabulous foot cream. Her name is Gloria Williams. It's called the Foot Nanny Foot Cream, and we launched her cream. There's also something called the Gratitude Glass Jar. Now, this is a very good example. I don't know how many people in this room know the Gratitude Glass Jar. You do, I see a few people there. We first met them in New York now, and she came, I think, from Australia, actually, and she was in not a fabulous spot, kind of a crummy area, that most people don't even walk those halls. We did, and the moment we saw this, we're like, oh, this is a really good idea. We showed it to Oprah, and that was like sort of a brand new idea for us. And her business started that way. The list could go on, but I mean, well.
And the moral of the story is don't despair if you're in a more remote area of the show.
Don't despair, because we will find you. We really will find you, because, you know, we go everywhere.
So tell me a little bit about what your average day is like. Do you have an average day?
I don't personally have an average day, because, you know, working on this list is really a part of my job. I'm the creative director of the magazine, which basically is conceiving and producing all the pages of the magazine, everything from the cover, so anything to do with Oprah herself, all of these O-list pages, beauty, fashion, features. So that is a time-consuming, and it is the main bulk of my job. And anyone that knows about magazines, I'm working on a 3-month lead time, 3 to 4 month lead time. So I'm working on producing right now our May issue, but we're closing our April issue, and we're trying to plan other issues. So that's a big part of it. This gears up favorite things, I will say, right, and probably about March is when we get really hairy. So we're certainly, that's a full-time gig for Rayanne especially, and Raina, because we are a small team, it's 3 of us really. And then I have a little side hustle where I do red carpet commentary for Extra TV. So this time of year I'm very busy doing that too, for award season. So I do not, my days vary, they vary. And that's why I probably am still doing it 19 years later.
Because every day is different and it
Correct.
just stays, keeps it fresh.
And I would say as a magazine, we like to think of the magazine as producing like a couture issue every month. Yes, there are features that are always in the issue, but like everything is rethought monthly, truly. Like, how are we going to present this? What is going to be the new take on this? So everyone at the magazine works very hard on trying to sort of rethink their pages. Is we know who our readers are, and we really are putting out products and pages and information for our readers. You know, I've worked in many other magazines, and we all have had these things where you go, oh, we know who they are, But the truth is, I never used to see people with other magazines I worked at. Here, I'm on the plane and I'm sitting next to someone and she's reading O Magazine. Or on the subway, you see O Magazine. I mean, 1 in 8 women read O Magazine. So we really do know who they are. We hear from them and we listen to them. So that is something that we're very proud of. You know, like people will bring things in and present to us, and it's not about what I personally like and what I personally want in my home. It's really about will it appeal to our readers? The difference between a fad and a trend. I mean, are they not the similar thing? I mean, I think they are quite similar. Fads might last shorter amounts of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Trends last longer. Trends sometimes can become a classic, and they're no longer a trend, they're just part of the zeitgeist. Where a fad really does come and go.
Well, yoga is an example of a trend, but it's been a trend for thousands of years. So, you know, like everyone thinks yoga is trendy, but
I know they do think it's trendy, but I don't even think of it as a trend because it is a lifestyle,
it's
and
definitely-
people have been doing yoga. You know, the real intention of yoga was really to get your body open enough to sit for meditation. It was not so that you could figure out how to put your leg behind your ear, or sweat it out, or yoga for the oldies, or whatever all these things are. I mean, it is a wonderful exercise, but the real intention behind yoga was to be able to get your body aligned and your spine wonderfully up and down so you could breathe and sit for meditation. So I don't know why I just went on that. So
you know,